I've been searching for something like this for my whole life, and I finally found it, and there's nothing in this world that'll ever distract me. At a young age, I was introduced into a Catholic church by my parents, and at the time, I mean, as a young kid, it wasn't really my decision. It was, hey, we're going to church and you're coming with us. Because of that, I didn't really develop a deeper understanding of church. Like, I just was going to church, I was learning the things and doing the things that I was told was right at the time, because that's all that I knew at that point, and I wasn't really seeking a better understanding of the church. It was kind of just a routine. When I turned 18, I went to college. I started, kind of doing those things that typical college students do. So a lot of the drinking, a lot of the drugs. And so I got involved in a lot of that, and really just started to distract away from and just grow very distant with my relationship with God and Heavenly Father, to the point at which it was non-existent. So I started experimenting with harder drugs, and eventually I experienced a very vivid bad trip, as some might say. I'm so grateful that I had that bad trip, because if I didn't have that bad trip, I don't know where I would be today, or where, like, if I would even be alive today. And that's the truth. I don't know that I ever would have stopped. And so during that experience that I had, I don't think that it was a coincidence, the things that I saw. After that happened, I realized that I needed to just say no to all sorts of drugs and have that be it. I just completely just turned over my life, and I was in the car ride one time, and I was just praying and just saying, just reaching out to Heavenly Father and saying, I'm done with all of what I'm doing. I'm sick and tired of going through the same routines. I don't think that this is a healthy life. I don't think that what I'm doing is right. And so please just give me some sort of direction. I want to be good. I want to do good things, and I want to be a role model for others. And I feel like if people were to talk to me at this stage in my life, they would think, oh, he's a lowlife, he's a bum, and I don't agree with the things that he's doing. And so I was like, I don't want to do that. And when that happened, I made a promise. I'm going to promise you, the next experience that I have, the next opportunity I'm presented with to learn more about Christ, I'm going to take it, no questions asked. And so I was working at the time at a deli with a friend who was a member. And so he knew me as that type of person that I had mentioned before, and he had started to see me kind of progress in my faith and just become a better person. And so he invited me to play volleyball with him at night. And here I am thinking, like, hey, this is a step in the right direction. Like, at the time I was very antisocial. I was just playing a lot of video games and just keeping to myself. And so volleyball, I was like, okay, this is a good opportunity for me to kind of get out there, get to know some people. And so I went there, and they had sister missionaries in the YSA, and he brought me up to them. And so we got to talking, and they say, hey, would you like to meet sometime this week and learn more about the church? And my mind just immediately just goes to fulfill that promise. Like, that's the first thought that came to my mind, was fulfill the promise. And so that's what I did. So I met and learned more about the church, and they handed me a Book of Mormon and said, hey, we want you to read the introduction. And so I read the introduction and then some. I had read all the way through 2nd Nephi of the Book of Mormon in the first lesson, and I picked up the Book of Mormon, and something, I didn't know the feeling that I was feeling at the time. As I started taking these lessons, I started having a recurring dream of a ship that was floating in the ocean. And as I started having more and more lessons, it's very vivid. It's just, it was like I was being drawn to shore. And I kept on having that same dream over and over again. And eventually, as I progressed through the lessons and learned more, I did accept the invitation to be baptized on May 2nd of 2015. And that night, I fell asleep and I had a dream, that same dream, but I wasn't drifting away from shore anymore. I was anchored. I was anchored to shore. I was like, this is where I need to be. This is absolutely where I need to be. There's no question about it, no doubt in my mind that this is what's for me. This is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This is Christ's church, and there's no other church that can compete to what I'm experiencing and what I'm feeling. I've been searching for something like this for my whole life, and I finally found it, and there's nothing in this world that'll ever distract me. Love each other as Christ loved you, and don't sweat on the little things. You can handle what you're given, and everything will be all right, because there's one person that knows us and wants us to exceed his expectations.